I got 2 thumbs up. Let's get this party started. Well, good morning, Wellspring.
Good morning.
And anybody who's out in Zoom land? Nobody in Zoom land. Well, for everybody who will be watching this later on the archives, welcome to Wellspring. My name's Vicki Avery. I'm one of the trustees here at Wellspring, and I'll be part of the May 31st, 2026 Sunday service team. Hard to believe it's the end of May already. How many shopping days left till Christmas? Before we get into our announcements, I'm going to do a Wellspring version of Where's Waldo? And we're going to update you on where Judy Bethman is. The movers came on Thursday. Took them about 3 hours to load up the truck. She told them that she had 40 boxes. She had 83 alone in the garage, and all 3 bedrooms had several boxes. So they filled the truck. The truck is on its way. We cleaned the house on Friday, and then Lenora and Judy and her little dog JJ left Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. They made it to Clinton, Oklahoma for the night last night. They couldn't get in Oklahoma City because everything was booked because the Thunderbirds were having a show there in Oklahoma City. They left this morning at 6 o'clock, which is way before Judy's wake-up time. Yes, she was doing the morning shift. Lenora was doing morning. And the last we heard, they were in Joplin, Missouri, headed northeast. So we will keep you updated. But they thought they'd do it in 2 days, but they wanted to wait and see how tired they were at the end of their driving day. So that's the Judy Bethman update. And now we have a few announcements. Early Birds meet Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email or on the website. Today's speaker is Reverend Pamela. And next week, on June 7th, is Donna Stryker. The 14th is Reverend Sandy Scott, coming from TRC. The 21st is Reverend Kamatara. And the end of the month, 28th, is our own Dr. Edward. The Thursday evening group continues to meet on Thursday. Yes, that's nice how that works out. And you can get the coordinates from either Cleona or Edward. Have a couple of, we don't have slides for these next announcements. We are planning to do a June community outing. And Brenda and I came up with taking a trip up to Sparky's on Saturday, the 13th of June. And they do have live music at noon, and it takes, depending on who's driving, about 45 minutes to get up there. And they open at 10:30, so we're thinking of maybe leaving about 10. We'll get there because a lot of times there's a line, and then stick around for a while for a little bit of the music. The other thing that Brenda came up with is, as you mostly all know, that we have our labyrinth out there, and we have incorporated a goddess figure, and we are going to be filling in her flowing gowns with colored stones or pieces of ceramic or whatever. And Brenda also came up with the idea, either around the path of the labyrinth or in the center, or we can put it in the goddess's gown. She did a couple of smaller rocks that she painted. So we were thinking if folks would like to, maybe we could have a rock painting party, either later in June, first part of July. And if anybody has art materials and would like to be part of this, we'll probably do it on a Saturday afternoon or something. So let Brenda or I know if you might be interested, and then we can make further plans about it. To personalize it and jazz it up a little bit. And finally, our prayer team is always ready to be of service and support you. You may want to submit a request via our webpage, or we do have paper hard copies you can fill out and give to Edward. The prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. And you might want to consider sitting in your quiet space during that time, because we know that we are one in spirit and the energy of prayer knows no limits. And now, if you'd like to get comfortable in your seat, we're going to have an invocation. Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, the all that is, the divine that flows in, through, and around each of us, is here with us today as we come together as a like-minded spiritual community to celebrate together life and joy and love. We know that each of us is supported. The universe gives us exactly what we need when we need it, and we give great thanks for that, knowing that all is in divine order. As we say together, and so it is. And now, if you'd like to stand, we will do the Hymn of Promise, the Song of Joy.
So this is our fifth time for the song. I think we're live here. Fifth time. So let's do it kind of slow and put some meaning into it. Everywhere I look, I see.
In the bulb there is a flower.
Oh,
You're all by yourself on this one.
Ain't that tune?
I know the chords.
Yeah.
I think it's an F, isn't it? Oh, but is that a good key? Oops.
For an oops, it sounded very pretty. Good job, folks. And now, let's read together our vision, mission, and our affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission: to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation: God in me attracts others who reveal a rich blend of love, joy, and fellowship. I know that my path is an expression of my sacred self. Therefore, I grow with full intensity. My spiritual journey is a blessing and a light to all. And so it is. And that was written by the original founder of Wellspring, Reverend Sam. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mother Teresa.
Thank you. Often mistaken for her at Albertsons. And okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, great. Sometimes you meet a stranger who's more like family than your own. A nod of the head, a little twinkle in his eyes, and you know you're no longer all alone. At the bend in the road is a lovely sunset, the perfect end to the dream of day. I know we're not the ones in charge of the sunset. It must be love that made it that way. On the desert plain, the cactus flower is blooming. The nightingale song seems to say, if flowers can bloom out here on the blazing desert, it must be love that made it that way. Now when you see that stranger, don't be afraid to offer him your hand. You know, it's an old trick of angels to come down here to earth, all decked out like a man. At the bending road is a lovely sunset, the perfect end to the dream of day. I know we're not the ones in charge of the sunset. It must be love that made it that way. On the desert plain, the cactus flower is blooming. The nightingale song seems to say, if flowers can bloom out here on the blazing desert, it must be love that made it that way. Is it on?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
You weren't too loud, and neither was the guitar.
Good.
Thank you, Teresa. It's always such a treat to have you here and sharing your gift of music with us. I remember the very first time you came here. I was walking towards the building here, and I heard the voice of an angel. That's how she got the nickname Mother Teresa. And I'm so glad you keep coming back. We are so blessed. Okay, today's reading is taken from the June 2026 reading for June 30th from the Science of Mind magazine. And it is called Joy is Love Fully Expressed. This is a quote by Helen Keller. Joy is the holy fire that keeps our purpose warm and our intelligence aglow. And Ernest Holmes says, every day and every hour we meet the eternal realities of life, and in such degree as we cooperate with these eternal realities in love, in peace, in wisdom, and in joy, believing and receiving, we are automatically blessed. Our prayer is answered before it is uttered. Today, I invite us to make a celebration of love, the radiant thread woven through every day of this month and every moment of life. Joy is love fully expressed, a luminous experience that arises when our spirit recognizes the divine harmony that pulses through existence. Not fleeting, this joy is an awareness, a feeling and the knowledge that our life matters and that love animates every meaningful moment. When we celebrate love's presence, we honor this interconnectedness of spirit, heart, and intention. Joy invites us to go beyond simple thinking about life's goodness and to find the place where we feel it deeply and embody it with every breath. Reflect on how love appears in your thoughts, actions, relationships, and inner life. Notice the ways you've grown, the ways you have served, the ways you have opened your heart to others and to spirit. True joy is not dependent on perfect circumstances. True joy is a spiritual fruit that blossoms in the soil of gratitude, presence, and connection, born from the awareness that joy is the holy fire that warms our purpose and draws us homeward. Let your actions reflect this radiant love. Smile freely. Speak words that uplift. Move through the world with lightness and intention. When you choose joy, you demonstrate that love is not static or distant. It is alive within you here and now. Remember that celebration is a spiritual practice. When you rejoice in love's presence, you amplify it in yourself and in the world. You become a living expression of divine joy and peace. And so it is. And now, our beloved Reverend Pamela.
Now am I on? Oh, I hear myself. There I am. Yes, it must be love that did the flowers in the desert, because Love weaves it all together. That was perfect and beautiful. And it demonstrates divine right order, doesn't it? We've never met. So I just love when things like that just work so perfectly. I'm so happy to see all of you here. I truly am, because today we're going to talk about something every single one of us have done. Some of us professionally, some of us recreationally, some of us with Olympic level dedication. Wallowing. Yes, wallowing. You know, that emotional quicksand where you start with one sad thought and suddenly you're staring down your own tragic Netflix series. But today we're going to talk about why we don't wallow anymore. I don't know if you know Judy Hunt, but I asked her to pray with me one day, and she says, well, okay, I've got a couple minutes, but we won't wallow. And now every time I have a sad thought, I see her face, and now I'm doing a whole sermon on it, so thank you, Judy. Why we don't languish in negative emotions. Why we don't sit in the mud and call it a lifestyle. We're going to do it with love, compassion, humor, and a whole lot of spiritual truth. The fire analogy, why you don't keep your finger in the flame. Let's start simple. If you put your finger in the fire, just hypothetically, you don't say, well, maybe if I leave it there just a little bit longer, I'll understand the deeper meaning of the flame. No. Whoops. You pull your hand back quickly. And you say, thank you, pain, for saving my life. Emotional pain works the same way. Anger, sadness, fear, resentment, judgments. They're not punishments. They're not character flaws. They're not the cosmic Yelp reviews about your worthiness. They're guidance. Abraham Hicks calls them your emotional GPS. Ernest Holmes says, we're not bound by any experience. We are freed by understanding it. Louise Hay reminds us, every thought we think is creating our future. Wayne Dyer whispers, you'll see it when you believe it. Ooh. And Eckhart Tolle grounds us with whatever you accept fully will take you to peace. These teachers are all saying the same thing. Negative emotion is not a place to live. It's a signpost that'll point you back to joy. When you catch that yucky feeling rising, stop and say, cancel, cancel, cancel. Does anyone remember that? And then put your hand on your heart and say, I am expressing joy now. Or whatever your catchphrase is that will bring you back to, having a straight head. Why we don't wallow? We don't wallow because wallowing is emotional self-arson. It's keeping your hand in the fire and then wondering why you're smelling smoke. Anger says, your boundaries matter. Sadness says, your heart is tender. Fear says, you're imagining a future without God. Try again. Resentment says, you've abandoned your own needs. Judgment says, I don't think God knows what he's doing. These emotions are messengers. They're not meant to be permanent roommates. We don't wallow because wallowing is not spiritual depth. It's spiritual stagnation. We don't wallow because wallowing is not healing. It's marinating. And friends, we're not meant to be marinated. We're meant to be elevated. We're meant to frolic. We don't wallow, we roll. Imagine the dog rolling in the grass out there. So much joy. To be like the love of the universe is to live in harmony with joy, not forced joy, not, oh, I'm fine. Although sometimes we just have to fake it till we make it. Depend on your faith in divine right order and believe in real joy, in soul joy, and joy that rises when you stop arguing with your own inner being. Joy is not a mood, joy is a frequency. Joy is your home address in the universe. And you don't have to leap from despair to bliss. You just have to reach for one slightly better feeling thought. As Abraham says, if you can't get to there from here, you can get somewhere better from where you are. Baby steps. Be gentle with yourself. One thought at a time. One breath at a time. One softening at a time. Let's end hard. Let's talk about the phrase that has caused more spiritual constipation than any other. It's so hard. Louise Hayes taught, it is only a thought, and a thought can be changed. If you say it's hard, your mind believes you. Your body believes you. Your energy believes you. Your life rearranges itself to match your belief. Whoa. The world will look like chaos. But God does not struggle. Spirit does not strain. Love does not grunt and sweat or panic. So why should we? I know, I can hear all the buts, but, I have all the buts too. But, remember, it is as you believe. It is as you believe. Say that with an I. It is as I believe. And if you believe it will be hard, it will be. So let us end hard. We're going to end the era of struggle. We're going to end the myth that suffering is noble. We're ending the belief that life must be difficult to be meaningful. Say this with me inside your heart. Everything I do and everything I receive comes easily, lovingly, and gently. I don't know how many of you might have remembered that Reverend Candy, ended every prayer with easily, lovingly, and gently. This is not a denial. This is not a delusion. This is an alignment. Ernest Holmes said, we live in a spiritual universe governed by mental law. So when you declare ease, the universe rearranges itself to match your declaration. What does that look like? We were driving home from Dallas. We made it all the way to Fort Worth. And we just couldn't find a charging station. And 3 hours later, we're still in Fort Worth. And we're in trouble. And I don't know how we end up going in the wrong direction and end up going up on the 3rd floor of a parking garage. But we did. And there's a woman there doing her car. So she says, oh, I'll be done in about 20 minutes. And about 30 minutes later, as we're sitting there, because at least we know this works. Haha, we thought. So she gets out, this sweet woman, and she says, oh, well, you can't just do what you think you can do here. Let me call the 1-800 number. So she takes my phone, she calls the 1-800 number. She looks down and opens up the door and takes pictures of the VIN number, and she's talking to this person, and okay, now put it in the car, and all of a sudden it magically fills up our car. That's an angel. We didn't freak out. We just kept saying, there must be a reason, because it's all in divine right order. So maybe there's an accident down there. I don't know why we're supposed to be here. But now we met this wonderful woman, and she was an angel. How else does that look? Yesterday, I went and got my nails done, and I got the owner of Boulevard Nail Spa on Solano and Locust. I've been going there 25 years, and I got the owner. And I was telling him I wanted to give him something because he was special to me. They've been taking care of me for decades. And he looked up, and he started telling me how that in 2019, he was in Vietnam with his family and his pregnant wife. And January 2020, out came China COVID, and he didn't think he was going to get home with his 3 kids and his pregnant wife. And he said he just had faith in God, and somehow he got through, and he got home, and they're unpacking, and all of a sudden his wife says, I'm having the baby, this 4th baby, and he reaches down, and he catches it. And he just says, he says it's a miracle from God. And then he said that all of a sudden he finds out he has to close his salon because there's COVID. I've got 4 children. What am I going to do? God, what am I going to do? People need masks. So he researched masks. He went and bought all the material from Joann's, Michael's, Home Depot, Walmart, anywhere that had, and found out how to put the film in it and make them just right. Sold 1,000, and the school district said, we need your mask, and put it in order for the whole school district. And he got $30,000. And he said, that's God. Those are the miracles that happen. You do the best you can. He goes, I work every single day. And I have a nanny, and the nanny makes sure my kids are going to karate, taking piano lessons, be at ballet. So that's how these things look when you have faith. I was young in the 70s with 3 tiny little children, and they wanted roller skates, and I didn't have money for roller skates. And all the kids had roller skates. And I paid my bills, and I had $1.50 left. And I was so thankful for $1.50 left. And we could go to the park down the street for free. And I said, God, they just need roller skates. And then on the lawn were 3 brand new pair of roller skates, 50 cents a piece in their sizes. That's how it looks. That's how the universe will rearrange itself to match your declaration when you live in faith. It could look fearful, but that's God's business. What's your business, right? Okay. So let's start a movement of joy. I want to plant a seed into this wonderful community, a seed that will grow into a movement of joy, a movement where we stop apologizing for being happy, where we stop dimming our own light to make others feel comfortable, where we stop rehearsing our wounds and start rehearsing our blessings, where we stop wallowing and we start rolling, where we stop surviving and we start thriving. Frolic with joy, a movement of ease, a movement of love, a movement of gentle divine flow. Because when one person chooses joy, the whole room lifts. When one person chooses joy, the whole family shifts. When one person chooses joy, the whole world brightens. And that's how we heal the world. One bright, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Jazz hands, thank you for singing with me. A little humor, because Spirit loves to laugh. Let's be honest. If wallowing worked, we would all be enlightened by now. If complaining raised your vibration, some of us would be ascended masters. If replaying old hurts made you wiser, we'd all be sages. But it doesn't. It never has. It never will. You were born for joy. You were designed for joy. You were created from joy. Every moment, yes, even the uncomfortable ones, exist to guide you back to joy. So, friends, the world doesn't need more people who are exhausted, overwhelmed, spiritually dehydrated. The world needs more light bearers, more ease makers, and more you. I know, someone said if it was so easy, then everybody would do it. And I said, well, yes, that's what we're here for. We're not here to make it hard. We're here to shine our light. So today, as a community, I got a couple of little cards that you could put maybe in your wallet or something. And they're affirmations, and so when you get them, you can say this with me, and then if you like it, you could keep it somewhere for you to read. Okay. So, as a community and a spiritual family and as a movement, declare with, I'm waiting for him to say, me. Are we ready?
Yes.
I end hard. I choose ease. Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. I choose joy. Everything I do and everything I receive comes easily, lovingly, and gently. I am guided. I am supported. I am loved. I am free. And so it is. And so we let it be. And so we roll. Okie doke. Thank you. All right. So why don't we settle in? We'll have a closing prayer. I recognize right now that there is one life, one infinite presence, one love, one intelligence, one radiant power that is forever expressing itself as all creation. It is the life that breathes the stars, the love that holds the galaxies, the wisdom that guides all things into perfect order. This presence is God, and God is all there is. And because God is all there is, I am one with it. I am made of its light, its love, its intelligence, its peace. There is no separation, no distance, no delay. The very mind of God is the mind I think with. The very love of God is the love I give and receive. The very life of God is the life that moves through me now. From this awareness, I speak my word. I declare that every person here is guided, lifted, and held in divine right order. Doubt dissolves, confusion dissolves, fear dissolves. The old story of hard dissolves. It cannot remain in the presence of truth. Right now the mind clears, the heart softens, the path opens, the way becomes easy, loving, and gentle. I know that each one here is empowered with a holy confidence, a spiritual certainty that rises from within and whispers, you are made of God. You are made of love. You are made of light. I affirm that this week something beautiful awakens. This week something courageous unfolds. This week something radiant expresses through every word, every step, every breath. I know that each one here becomes a living blessing, a lighthouse of compassion, a beacon of ease, a presence of peace. Everywhere you go, you shine. Everywhere you go, you uplift. Everywhere you go, you remind the world what love looks like in human form. And so I speak this charge into the field. Go out and shine this week. Shine boldly. Shine gently. Shine joyfully. Shine because it is your nature. Shine because the world needs your light. Shine because God shines as you. I give thanks for this truth. I give thanks for this community. I give thanks for the light that cannot be dimmed. I release this word into the law, knowing it is already done, already unfolding, and already complete. And we say, and so it is. Amen. I also would like to ask Dr. Edward and his wife, because I know how much work wives have to do, to come up for a quick moment, because I have a gift to give you. Would you like to come receive a gift? It's for your room over there, because I see you have room on walls. And so I do artwork, and I thought I would love to have this hanging up here.
There's room for it.
I saw some room somewhere like that. So the story behind this is my mom passed away this summer, and she had 30 of these that I had drawn her through the years. So I matted them all, and there's love story written on the back. Someday someone will see Love Stories to Mom someday, if they ever open that. But that's where that came from.
Fantastic to have a part of both you and your mother here.
So I'm very, very happy about that. Whoops. I walk on everybody's feet. Okay, yes, and thank you very much. I so enjoy being here.
If you all could see your faces now, the energy in this room has shifted, and you all are glowing. Thank you, Pamela, for guiding us to that glow space and reminding us of who we truly are. And now it is time for our offering. If someone would like to pass the... Oh, my bad. Wait for the bucket. We've got another song. Sorry about that. Are you good?
I'm so good.
And you're getting better.
Wait till you hear this song. It's the synchronicity. This song is called If You Really Knew Who I Am. Oh, it's so weird how it works. Microphone's on. Oh, I can scoot a little bit. Years ago, I moved to LA to be in the business of the show, and I hope it's okay if I tell a quick little story apropos of your wonderful talk today. Thank you so much. I actually have been called to LA to audition for a play, a musical. And I was living in San Francisco, and I thought, oh, okay, I have to go to LA. You know how we feel about LA and San Francisco. And so I went down and I auditioned. I didn't get the job. It was the part was for a hooker with a heart of gold. and the heart of gold was a stretch, you know. But while I was there, I was taken to a Course in Miracles meeting that was given by someone who's become very famous. And I thought, oh my God, I have to be here for this. I have to come to these lectures. I have to. And so I put everything I owned on the street in San Francisco, and within 2 weeks I moved to LA. I'm the only person I know who moved to LA for their spiritual life. And I wound up living there for many years. But as a result of going to these lectures, I hope this is interesting, I hope it's okay. As a result of going to these lectures and practicing the Course, which is very, very demanding and challenging, as we all know, I started to write music for the Course and for this particular lecturer. And I asked if she would mind if I would open her lectures with a song. And she said, ew. It hadn't occurred to her that ever. But she said, okay. And that began years of a relationship with the lecturer and with the Course. And this is the first song I wrote for the Course. Now, this is almost 1986. So it's kind of almost 40. How many years is that? 40. Jeez Louise. So, golly. So I haven't done it in a long time. I may have tried doing it here once a long time ago, but we'll see. And my voice was higher, less hormonal. If you really knew who I am, you'd rise up in bliss. In a moment like this, you'd be set free. If you really knew who I am, you'd get off your knees, lay your body on the breeze, and then be healed. If you really knew who I am, your soul would skim the tide. Like an eagle, it would ride its way back home. And you'd know love as you have never known love. And you'd be free. You'd fill every room with roses in bloom and shed glad tears. If you really knew who I am, there'd be candles aflame in the temple to my name, and there we'd pray. And you know love as you have never known love. And you'd be free. If you really knew who I am, you'd look deep into my eyes. Then you'd realize that I am yours. Then you'd realize that I am you. Then you'd realize that if you really knew who I am.
Thank you, Teresa. When you tell your stories, we get to know a little bit more of who you really are. So thank you for sharing. And the gentleman that sits behind you is very much into the Course of Miracles. All right, now it's time for our offering. So Sharon, thank you for passing the bucket. There have been so many blessings already today. We'll wait for your money, honey.
Yeah, honey.
Yeah. Thank you all for giving. As we acknowledge and receive our virtual and in-person gifts, we give great thanks for these offerings that we've already received and those that we will be receiving, both because we know that the giving and the receiving is all part of one flow. We affirm that we are also part of that flow, and we bless these gifts and know that they are multiplied throughout our community. And so it is. There's a number of folks that have contributed to today's celebration. We have Brenda back as our techie. We have Cleona on camera. Woohoo! Sharon, thank you for passing the buckets, and thank you for setting up hospitality next door. And Pamela brought chocolate cake, one of the 4 basic food groups. Yeah. Teresa, thank you for being here and sharing your gift of music. Edwin, thank you for your musical contribution. And for each one of you, we want to give a special thanks to Pamela for her message today. And thanks to each one of you for being here. Is there anybody on Zoom land yet? Nobody yet. But see, we shine our light, and that will be the beacon that will bring people to us, because they're going to want what we got. So, okay. So if you would please stand and read with me the benediction, and then we will sing the song of peace. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world. And so it is. And we'll all gather in the aisle. Hold hands. We're ready.
We're ready, Freddie.
Right up there.
You already know the chords.
Right, ready.
Give me a second here.
Time's up.
There are many chords.